TV. It's story time. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village tucked between green hills and tall trees, people lived side by side with birds. This village was different. Humans and birds were like family. But among all the birds, the peacocks were the poorest. Their feathers were dull and gray, and their homes were small and crumbling. The village itself had very little, no big farms, no markets, and not enough food to go around. Other nearby bird villages, like the ones of parrots and eagles, would laugh at them. They called it the fated village and mocked their poor feathers and empty fields. But the peacocks were kind-hearted and always hoped for a better day. They didn't have much, but they had each other. One bright morning, while the birds were going about their duties, a royal messenger bird soared across the sky, flapping its golden wings and ringing a little bell to capture the attention of its listeners and passers-by. It landed in every bird village with a grand scroll tied to its leg. The message came from the king of the Skylands, a mighty crowned hawk. A grand contest will be held in 7 days. All the birds are to present a bird as their representative for the contest. The most beautiful bird in all the land will win endless bags of grains, rich farmlands, and gifts beyond dreams, for their entire village. The parrots and eagles cheered proudly. Victory will be ours, they boasted. But in the peacock village, the air was silent. How could they ever win with dull feathers? As they reasoned amongst themselves, Papa Pavo stood tall and said, "Let's not give up. We may be poor, but we have each other, team spirit, and we have time." Everyone looked at each other with a sparkle in their eyes and a glimmer of hope in their hearts. That very evening, the Peacock village gathered in their little square under the moonlight according to the instruction of Papa Pavo. Papa Pavo stood at the center, holding a bundle of old scrolls. "We may not have colorful feathers," he said, "but nature has colors and we will find them." Auntie Pearl, the village herbalist, stood smiling. "The forest hides many secrets," she said. The next morning, both the young and the old set out into the forest in search of the key to their victory. They picked berries, crushed petals, peeled barks, and stirred bubbling pots. Reds from rosehip, blues from forest lilies, gold from wild turmeric. Pico the young peacock was in charge of testing the colors, splashing paint on feathers and twirling proudly. Laughter echoed amongst them, and for the first time in a long time, hope was brighter than the stars. Days turned into nights, and the peacock village buzzed with excitement. The forest had given them gifts, colors brighter than they had ever imagined. Everyone was busy carrying out their duties with utmost care and joy. Auntie Pearl carefully mixed the dyes producing beautiful colors while Papa Pavo designed a pattern fit for royalty. The villagers took turns gently fixing and painting Pico's feathers to give them what they envisioned. Red swirls, golden eye spots, shimmering blues, it was as if Pico had borrowed the sky and the sunrise. The night before the contest, the Peacock village gathered again, and when Pico walked out, completely transformed, the crowd fell silent. He was no longer the plain little bird they knew. He was magnificent. The long-awaited day had finally arrived. Birds from all villages gathered in the grand village square, buzzing with excitement. Colorful feathers fluttered, songs filled the air, and hopeful hearts beat fast. Pico arrived with the peacock villagers, his feathers hidden beneath a long, glittering veil. Whispers followed them. "Why even bother?" sneered a falcon from the highlands. "Did they come to sweep the stage?" mocked an eagle with a laugh. But the peacocks said nothing. They took their seat quietly, hearts steady. On the grand throne sat King Kahu, the wise old owl with golden feathers and a crown made of forest leaves. His sharp eyes scanned the crowd, waiting to be dazzled. One by one, the birds strutted their stuff, flamingos danced, parrots mimicked songs, and peacocks watched silently. Then, it was Pico's turn. The square went quiet. All eyes turned to Pico, who stood center stage, still veiled in shimmering cloth. The air buzzed with whispers and chuckles. Even the judges exchanged doubtful glances. King Kahu raised a wing. "You may begin." With a deep breath, Pico slowly lifted the veil. Gasps echoed. Before them stood a breathtaking bird unlike any ever seen. Pico's feathers shimmered in deep blues, radiant greens, fiery oranges, and glowing purples, each color alive with light. When he spread his wings, it was as if the rainbow had come to dance. He twirled, strutted, and bowed, feathers rippled with grace and brilliance. Silence turned into thunderous cheers. Even the mocking eagle sat stunned. Tears filled the eyes of the peacock villagers as pride filled their hearts. King Kahu leaned forward on his throne, a smile spreading across his wise old face. The cheers filled the forest square like thunder. Pico bowed gracefully as the colors of his feathers danced in the sunlight. Even birds from rival villages stood, clapping their wings in amazement. For a moment, the teasing and pride disappeared, every bird was united in awe. King Kahu slowly rose from his golden leaf throne. His eyes twinkled with wisdom. "With what my eyes have seen today," he began, "there is no doubt." The crowd went silent again, holding their breath. "The winner of this contest is Pico the Peacock." A burst of applause exploded. Confetti-like petals flew in the air. The peacock village erupted with joy. Tears rolled down Mama Pina's cheeks. Papa Poro lifted Pico high into the air, his feathers catching the sunlight like living jewels. The king smiled. "As promised, your village will receive a year-round supply of grains for 4 years, and plots of fertile land to farm and prosper." The celebration became a festival. Drums, dancing, and laughter filled the air. And in that moment, the peacock village knew, everything was about to change. From that very day, the peacock village was never the same again. Large sacks of golden grains were delivered by strong forest animals, elephants, buffaloes, and even kind-hearted lions. Birds from every part of the land came to see the village that won the king's heart. The peacocks worked hard on their new lands. They planted corn, millet, and rice. Every sunrise brought the sound of cheerful songs and the sight of fluttering feathers in the fields. Little Pico became a hero, every chick and chicklet wanted to grow up and be like him. He would often teach them how to be brave, creative, and proud of where they came from. Other birds, including some from rival villages, came to learn how the peacocks mixed herbs and paints to create colors. The peacocks taught them, but the secret to their beautiful feathers they kept to themselves until this day. Instead of mocking them, they now respected and admired them. The village had changed, but the hearts of its people stayed humble. News of the peacock's stunning victory and their colorful feathers spread like wildfire. Birds from distant lands, flamingos, parrots, even rare birds no one had seen before, flew in to visit. They came with gifts, shiny stones, rare seeds, and musical instruments, and asked to learn the ways of the peacocks. Pico welcomed them with open wings. Each evening, the village lit up with music and dance. Feathers twirled in the air, and laughter echoed through the trees. The once quiet village had become the most famous and joyful place in the bird world. And still, the peacocks remembered how it all started, with teamwork, dedication, resilience, creativity, and believing in themselves. Though they had become famous and wealthy, the peacocks never forgot where they came from. They built schools for young chicks, shared food with hungry neighbors, and invited other poor villages to learn from their journey. Pico's father, now an elder, often told young birds, "No matter how beautiful your feathers are, it is your heart that truly shines." The peacocks planted herbs each season to keep their feathers glowing and held the contest trophy in a special place in the village square to remind them of their story. And so, the once poor village thrived, not just with riches, but with kindness, wisdom, and unity. And that, dear friends, is why the peacock has beautiful feathers. Hello children, what did this story teach you? Write your answers in the comments. Kindly like, share, follow, subscribe to our channel and tap on the notification icon so as to get notified once we upload a new story. Thanks for watching.